Secrets to a long lasting relationship and questions that you can ask your future partner. This is part 4 in my series on long lasting relationships. And with a relationship, I could mean marriage, but also non traditional relationships. Anyone who wants to find a partner to spend his or her life with can hopefully benefit from my experience. I'm coming up to my 20th wedding anniversary. It's going to happen on October 4th. And I take this opportunity to look back on what is making my marriage work, because I've had 2 marriages that didn't work exactly the way I had envisioned them to work. Because being married, being in a long term relationship, is one of the most challenging things that I've ever had to do in my entire life, because nobody prepares you. I mean, you can look at your parents, but they don't necessarily give you the right example. You can look at the movies or what you see on TV, but that's just all scripted. You look around and you see your friends fail, and you gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta figure things out yourself, because we're all different. Each combination of people is different, and nobody is born with the guidebook and the rules for long lasting relationships, right? So, one of the things I said in part 1 was that you have to be able to put up with each other's imperfections, because nobody's perfect, of course not. Which means that you have to be forgiving of each other's flaws. In the beginning of every relationship, you're wearing these rose-colored glasses and you idolize almost the person that you fell in love with, and that gives us a distorted picture. The other person has a distorted picture of you, and you have a distorted picture of the other person, not on purpose, but that's the way it works. And when you really, really, really get to know each other and get to spend time with each other, you get to see the cracks, and you discover that real life is not like social media life, where we all are tempted to use these filters that make us look more beautiful and handsome and than we really are. It gives us this fake picture of who we want to be or want to show the world that we are, which is so far from reality often. I mean, I think I'm using a filter at this moment, I'm not sure, but I just don't want you to look at my morning face that just came out of bed and is not ready for the day yet. So I tried to enhance reality a little bit. But, you know, when you have found your life partner that you want to spend a lot of time with, you have to be willing to look at each other in a very realistic way. You have to be able to say, you know what, in spite of all your flaws and imperfections, I still choose you. And a life partner allows you to be you and doesn't try to manipulate you into being somebody that you're not, that you don't want to be, because that's control. And I think being in a long lasting relationship should be freedom. Freedom to be who you are and become better, even become better at life. So the questions that I think you should ask yourself is, could this person be my friend for life? And what I mean by a friend, well, I once read this definition that a friend knows everything about you and still loves you. I know it's a cliche, but I think it's true. It bears repeating. A friend is someone who knows everything about you and still loves you. So the question you could ask if you're contemplating of being in a relationship with a new person is, do you want to be my friend in spite of all my flaws? Will you be able to forgive me whenever I mess up? Because at some point, the honeymoon phase is over and you're bound to mess up. Because that's who we are. And life is messy sometimes. People are messy. Another question I would ask is, will you be patient with me as we are trying to figure out life together? Because living is learning. You learn one another. Just because you're married, because you tied the knot, doesn't mean you stop learning, that you know everything there is to know about that person. No, 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 no. Will you promise to keep on learning each other with me for as long as it takes? Now, in part 3, I talked about the importance of going through setbacks together. Not because it's fun, but every relationship that is strong or strengthened has done some trauma bonding. I don't like the word, but yes, we go through traumas, and that some people are defeated by them. Some relationships break up because there's trauma, and other relationships, like mine, get stronger and stronger and stronger. You got to be tested. If you want to know what a sailing boat is really capable of, you have to go through a storm and come out on the other side. So will you be patient with me as we try out our life together, no matter what happens and no matter how messy it gets? Are you flexible under pressure? That's the thing. Some people easily break because they're not ready. They're in it for the good stuff. But once the bad stuff hits the fan, they bail out. And I think one of the secrets to my long-lasting marriage to my wife, 20 years now, is that she's willing to forgive me, to put up with the mess that I sometimes make, and that she's always there. She has my back for whenever SHIT happens. I've had a lot of stuff happen in my life. Another question I would ask a future partner is, are you okay with not always being the center of the universe? Because I listen to updates on second dates and why people didn't get second dates. There's this show that does second date update, and the person calling usually has no clue why they're not going on a second date, why the person is ghosting them that they thought they had a future with. It's usually something that they have no idea that they did or that they said, or typical behavior that somebody did not appreciate. Somebody said, well, I hated the way he talked to a waiter, or I hated the way she spoke about her child. There's some clues. But if you are the center of the universe, you automatically think that whatever you do and say and think is the right thing, and that you have nothing that can be improved. So you need to see yourself as a work in progress, and your relationship as a work in progress, and that you don't necessarily see yourself as the center of the universe. Okay. Which also means, another question, are you open to change, and are you willing to compromise? That's a thing that is kind of gone from our society, especially in the United States where I live, the ability and the willingness to compromise, to give in order to accomplish something greater that benefits both of you. And it's not about being right. It's about being happy. I know it's a cliche, but it is true. A lot of cliches are true, right? So you have to give up your need to be right and always in control of the situation no matter what happens. And you need to give up some of your pride, maybe. I don't know how you want to see that, but you need to be able to listen to the person who's sitting across the table from you and say, wow, yes. Even though I would have never done it the way you are proposing that we should do it, I'm willing to give it a try. Even though I might not get the outcome that I necessarily want. It's okay. Life will go on. Let's keep on learning. Let's keep on learning each other. And, we have this two-party system basically in the United States where none of the parties has a willingness to compromise, right? They all want to do it their way. And because there's this system of two parties, they are confrontational. It's a system of confrontation that's built in. Well, a good marriage, a good long-lasting relationship is a system of cooperation instead of confrontation. And then, the last thing, are you willing to continue to surprise each other day after day by being interested and interesting? If you want people to be interested in you, your partner to be interested in you, you need to be interesting. And your partner needs to do the same thing. So do some unexpected things. Create memories together of things that you've never done before that show different sides of who you are. Be interested and be interesting. So are you willing to be interested and interesting? That's another question you can ask for your future life partner. I know these are big questions that require big answers, but they're worthwhile your time. I'll see you soon, okay? Take care.